All right, it is time for pre-market prep at the close.
3 consecutive highs, opened, matched yesterday's low, and then once it took out there, that's all the breakout momentum traders needed.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to pre-market prep at the close here on Benzinga. And we are just taking levels out all over the place, whether you're looking at the S&P 500, whether you were looking at Apple stock. We will be looking at those two charts specifically, as well as some other stories. But I'm going to bring my man Joel on, hanging out, see how Joel's doing today. Hopefully he's not selling too hard. Joel, how you doing?
So I guess we can't blame you for the market going down, because we went down. We came off hard Tuesday. We were down Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So we can't put the onus on you, at least for today. But let's talk the numbers. Let's talk the futures or the SPY, whatever you're looking at. We tried to rally off the open, and we were snuffed out well shy of the pre-market high. Once we took out last week's low, the bears got a little pesky. That was 55 and a quarter. Not much to give you at the low of the day, folks. 27 and a quarter. If you got a level there, then by all means lean on it. I don't have anything until under 3,800. The buck's down just a couple pennies, 104.65. The TLT, it's pulling back. Nothing, down a buck 45, 75, 105.66. Crude finding a home in the middle 75 handle. We got a triple top just under 78, and now we have a double top just under 77. So sellers stepping down in crude. Gold, we talk about the GLD and the gold trying to clear that 1800 for good. No can do. Down 420 at 1796. Silver, that's down 21.8 cents at 23.11. And Bitcoin, it was a nice rally over 18K, but we're leaking again here, down 290 bucks. It's 16,485. Aaron, what happened to our catalyst from this morning?
So the catalyst we were talking about this morning, Joel, was Tesla. Dennis gave it out this morning, basically said, hey, look, if Tesla rolls over, watch out for the market. And we saw both those things happen. Let me pull up Tesla's chart here, Joel. And we'll look at it first on a daily and then go to a 5 minute. So this is the daily, not a pretty looking chart. I'm not the biggest chart guy out there, but I could even tell you that doesn't look great. Go to the 5 minutes here. We got that pop this morning from Elon Musk saying he was going to step down from CEO of Twitter. He did the poll. Either way, we got a small pop, but it gave it up. Not a good sign for Tesla, and it was a worse sign for the overall market. Go to the SPY, you'll see S&P 500 down more than 1%, Joel. So I don't know what to say really about today's price action.
I mean, just concerning Tesla. I mean, how does it fundamentally change its valuation? It doesn't. It got a nice pop. One thing I like to point out to traders and investors, when you get those kind of moves in the pre-market, the question is, do you take out that pre-market high? And one other thing Dennis said, he goes, I'm surprised Tesla's not up more on this. And way I was looking at it, I was surprised it wasn't at Friday's high and nowhere near it. I gave the triple top at the 161, didn't even get near that, took out, made a new low of the move at what looks like just under 146, getting a little bit of a bounce. Let's see, what was that low? That low was 145.82. I guess the psychological 150 level, you want to close over that, but this is a new low for the move, a new closing low. And to Aaron, it looks like to me your low was closed since December of 21.
Yeah, tough chart for Tesla. Again, not boding well for the overall market either. I'm not, I don't know. Like you said, how does the company fundamentally change from here? Here's my outlook on it, Joel, is that we still know that Tesla, compared to other car companies, right, is way more expensive of a stock. GM, Ford, all these other stocks kind of trade at a discount. The whole industry does, because the auto industry, there are small margins. They're just not super profitable companies that like grow a lot. So they trade a little bit below par for the overall market. And Tesla is an exception in that industry. which is fine if you do have that growth and all that. But in a higher interest rate environment, all that stuff, it's a lot harder for Tesla to maintain that growth. I expect that reversion of the mean to continue, for Tesla to come down to a more reasonable valuation in terms of other car companies. And I know everyone says it's not really a car company, and that's great. But when 99% of the company's revenue comes from cars, it's kind of a car company, you know. But Joel, real quick, I see some great comments in the chat. So first of all,
Sure.
Jim Cruz is just asking about your charts. Well, I apologize. We'll get Joel's charts back.
New
Hopefully
computer is on the way, guys.
on
It's
the way.
on the way. It's Dell. I'm telling you, I'm sticking with Dell. I did a lot of research. I did my inner search on the internet. I drove the internet people crazy. I need a new computer. Mitch and Dennis were right, but don't tell them. I got a new computer coming soon, folks. And if I get back down to the office, I'll be able to pull these charts up too. So sorry about that, but please stand by and work with Aaron's charts. The other thing too I wanted to mention about Tesla, you were talking about the fundamentals. Well, what if we're going into a recession? Are people going to be going out and buying fancy Teslas, or are they going to be going buying less expensive cars?
Right, with you know, more and more competition coming in too. You know, when Toyota puts out a $35,000 Corolla versus a $50,000 Tesla base model, you know, you start becoming a harder thing. So tough there. I got Dell's chart pulled up. I hope your computer works well, because it's not not a pretty chart.
I think I'm just an old man, and I stick with what I've had for 100 years.
Uh,
But I like the
no,
for.
but
I mean, don't like the chart, but you got a double top to lean on if you want to short it at 38.80, and you got a trap door here if you take out the pair of lows at 38.64 and 38.71. What are you seeing on this chart?
I mean, I'm just seeing lower highs. So you got that, you know, this high back in February 2022. Every time we're making lower highs. And I'd be watching it here to see if we take out this low in October. Looks like down there right at $33. Take out 33. Would definitely be bearish there. But yeah, I'd see if we get down there and bounce off there, then maybe, you know, potential double bottom down there. But I'm always more in the camp, Joel, of just, I look at a chart like that, I see it in a downtrend. I'm from Missouri. Missouri is the show me state. So if you want me to go along this, I'm going to say show me it taking out some highs. Show me it, you know, having some bullish activity, then I'll get interested. But for now, forget about it.
All right, Todd. There's one other monthly low in there ahead of the October low at 32.90. I kind of like that. I mean, to talk, you know, stocks at 38.80. You start talking about 32.33. We have a little bit shorter term time frame here. So for me, if in fact we crack this monthly low, look at very close to it. My next target on the downside would be your November low at 37.02.
There you go. Other comment I wanted to bring up from the chat, Joel. This is a great question that you know, I'll let you answer, but if you want me to hop in at all, happy to. Michael is asking, why is the UVXY, so the VIX index, I don't know what it actually, the Ultra VIX short term ETF, why is the VIX down today while the market is down? Michael's saying, isn't it true that typically the VIX goes up when the market is down? There's an inverse correlation there, typically, correct?
Mm-hmm. Uh, you might want to ask Kenny Glick about that because he's not too happy about that. This is just a very poor hedge against the market. I am not a big VIX fan. This is a great example. I don't know if it has something to do with you know, the option expiration. The all-time high in this thing. This has been a reverse split 1,000 times. I think there's just other hedges out there. If the overall VIX is coming down, then you know that's probably a little bit of a better thing. But it hasn't been a whoosh. It's not the flash crash that Tim Quast talked about. This is a very orderly decline. You're hitting levels and then you're bouncing and then you're hitting levels to get the VIX, you know, to get the juices flowing in the VIX and the UVXY. You need those 50 handle plunges and 25 handle rebounds and then a 75 handle plunge. But so far, this is just pretty orderly decline. So that is, yeah, I'm sure you're disappointed if you came in long that UVXY today and it's in the red. I think it's trading near the high. Yeah, it is trading near the high of the session, but no,
Yeah.
not a good day for you think for a hedge. It's but something that's supposed to go up when the market goes down.
Right. And you know, it's typically like Michael said, where there's usually an inverse correlation, but to Joel's point, you see the VIX skyrocket, which here what I'll do here is we'll look at the actual VIX, which we don't have on Benzinga
Okay.
Pro yet. I think we're in the process of getting this. Will just be on Google's chart real quick, but just to illustrate my point, here's where the VIX has been the highest in the past 5 years, right when COVID hit. That selling was a lot different than what we're seeing now, to Joel's point, right? It wasn't orderly, you know, okay, we're seeing the Fed raise interest rates. We're just going to sell a little bit here, maybe some tax loss selling there. It was, holy crap, we got to sell everything. There's a global pandemic coming. And that's when you'll really see the VIX come up in volatile, like unpredictable times. Right now, even though the market's going down, there's really not a lot of volatility. It's going down. We've gone down what, Joel? 4 out of the last 5 days, 5 out of the last 6 days. There's not a lot of up and down, you know, crazy moves where you would really see the VIX come up. So, again, like Joel, like you said, you'd be upset if you were long the VIX here, or even long some different options plays. You can see those options really get that value crushed on days where the VIX comes down, but pretty flat today. But it is surprising not to see that up more. So good call out, Michael, in the chat.
All right. What about our big gun here? Something I don't know if we went into much detail on Apple, but just to give you a flavor for my technical analysis here in Apple, I mean, you had this was your fourth attempt at that 134.50 area. Came down, had a major rebound. I believe earnings had something to do with it when you rebounded back up to 157.50. You came down again back in November. You sputtered a little bit, but you made two lows right at that 134.50 area. The rebound off that, no, not 157. That came up more at 152, 153. And then looking more to the right when everything topped out last Tuesday on this CPI number, you hit 150. You had 4 bad days, and then you talk about there's no such thing as a quadruple bottom. Well, that's what you got. Barely stuck your head above that support today. Old support is now new resistance in Apple. I see one monthly low at 129.04. But if you really want to lick your chops in Apple on the downside, you're going to have to wait to some lows back in April, May, and June of 2021, right around the 122, 123 area. Ain't going straight there, though. There's always going to be some zigs and zags. If you want to buy it on strength, well, let's reclaim that former area of support. Aaron, what are you seeing on the Apple chart?
I'm seeing, I mean, like I got the monthly pulled up right now. I had my cursor kind of going over some of those levels from last spring that you were pointing out. And this chart does not look great to me, Joel. This monthly chart does not look great. I will say, going short Apple would scare me, just in the sense, like you said, it's not going to go straight down. If there's any stock out there that will have bids out there, no matter the current outlook, it'll be Apple. And I'm not saying Apple's not going to go down, because it probably will. It will if the overall market is. But you know, I don't know. You know, going to the short Apple would kind of scare me, just in the sense that, like I said, it might hit 130 and then be stuck there for a week. You know, and you're not getting those quick moves. But we'll see.
Yeah, this is I mean, it took a while. It held up pretty well, and now it's coming in on its June low. But you know, another thing that you got to keep in mind is something like Apple. Yeah, well, you know, 132. Well, that looks low compared to 180, right? Where it was back at the beginning of the year. But if you look to the left instead of the right, what about all the people that still own it at 110, 120, at 90, at 80, at 70? And I think that, you know, Dennis has mentioned several times on the show that he's had a long-term Apple position, and he's hedged it out with options. He's neutral on this because he wants to sell it next year. He liked the 150 area. He put a collar on it. And once again, just going back to your valuations. I mean, I think it's still trading at 23, 24 times earnings. That's high for Apple. For many years, it had historical low PE. It was rewarded and they brought it up. But now it's like, no, 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 we're changing our minds. So, but Apple, if you want to get long it, if you want to try something down here, in this area, maybe look for another retest of today's low, 130, 132. You're off that right now. 130 is a psychological number, but you just have to be aware, based on the monthly charts, there's no monthly low until 129.04. And that's not really the only tech in the S&P 500 dragging us down, Aaron.
Yeah, we can. I don't know if tech which one you're referring to, but I saw some people talking about this in the comments, and I did want to make sure we get to Disney before the end of the show. We've got about 10 minutes left. So what was the other tech stock you wanted to look at, real quick?
Oh, no, I just wanted to just mention, and I was discussing with you before we went on air, you got the big boys, right, at the top of the S&P 500. I mean, you're going to have, if you're thinking of buying the spider on a day like this, and you look at Apple down 1.9%, Microsoft even doing worse than that, down 2.25%. Ooh, Microsoft is coming into support. Google, that's down 2%. Amazon, oh man, doesn't anybody go to Amazon anymore? Low of the
Amazon's
move.
making new
Yes.
52-week lows here.
Try
Amazon
52? 52? How
more?
about 104 or
I mean,
100 and yeah, the pandemic low. Well, that wouldn't be 104, but yeah, I mean, the pandemic low in this, say hello to the pandemic low, 81.30. So that's over a year low. That's over a 2-year
It's
low.
like the market's pricing something in that we haven't even seen yet or something. I don't know what's going on. But let's with 10 minutes left, because I've seen this in the chat now. People asking about Disney. So House of Mouse, DIS. We also, like Amazon, now back down to COVID lows, down here below $90, $85 today, trading lower after worse than expected opening box office for the new Avatar movie. AMC also getting crushed on that. I don't know. I don't think it's just the Avatar movie why Disney's down 5%. If that movie didn't come out, Disney'd probably still be down, well, I don't know, 3%, whatever. It's impossible. But there are people, talking about that's why some weakness is showing in the stock. What are you seeing in terms of technicals or any fundamental thoughts, Joel?
Are you an Avatar Star Wars guy or not?
No, well, those things aren't related, but
yeah, they are to me.
To you, they're just sci-fi. I actually was telling this to my buddies. They didn't believe me. When the first Avatar came out, I want to say it was 2008. It was the biggest movie of all time, broke all these records. I was like 13. We were going to movie theaters every weekend. I never saw it. It just never interested me. It was like a 3-hour movie. I didn't see it till like 5 years later when I was 18. I haven't seen the new one. I might go see it if I get roped into it, but I'm not going to go out of my way to go see it.
Well, if you want to get on Triple D's good side, he's the big Star Wars geek. And I always tease. I frankly either. I mean, I didn't even, if I would have saw E.T. in my backyard when I was a kid, I wouldn't have been like going up and like touching his finger. I'd be like getting a shovel out to him. So, I'm not into those kind of movies. I mean, if anybody's going to learn anything from looking at your Disney chart, how about that Iger pop? Okay, when they bring him on, I can almost tell you the exact. Was it when was it? Was it November? Yeah, I know what day it was. It was probably November 21st. Oh, Iger's coming back. Bye, 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 bye. You gapped up over $100. You never have even seen the high from that day. Triple D and I have been going back and forth on this one. I mean, this stock. I mean, if you look at it, if you want to buy stocks in uptrends and pullbacks, this stock is no longer in an uptrend. You had your COVID low at 80, right? You went to 200 because of Disney Plus subs, which they're making $4.79 a person on. COVID is COVID. I don't know what's going on with the parks, but they're very expensive. I mean, if people are going to start hitting on their pocketbook, going, a family of four going to Disney World is not going to be, the most affordable thing. 86.28, that was your low on November 9th. That was comes off the earnings. You made a new low here by a decent margin, trading off the lows of the session. On the monthlies, like again, I don't see anything until that COVID low of 79.07. And even if you go farther back on your monthlies, even like through 2016 to 17 through 18 through 19, it had a pop in late 19. I think that might have been because of, I can't remember why that was. Was that when they started up with the streaming? Or I think it was later than that.
In
But
in 2018, why they had this pop up? That's a good question.
yeah, I
Was there
can't
something
remember.
with I almost want to, this is complete speculation, be way off. I almost want to say there was something with China, some like China trade potentially
Just
around then.
a general market rally? No, I can't remember. But you're making a new low of the move. You're coming back down. I mean, you can look at your COVID low here. A catalyst. Yeah, the avatar. You could use that as a catalyst. But there's other things going on at Disney, and it's certainly not the. It's not only the box office sales for
Right, and I
that
think from
matter
a
they're moving.
fundamental standpoint, like you asked earlier, if we're heading into a recession, who's going to be buying Teslas? If we're heading into a recession, there are much cheaper vacations to take your family on if you can afford one at all during a recession than trying to take them all to Disney World. So I think those parks get absolutely decimated in a recession type outlook if that's what the economy is heading for. I think you'll be looking at them like they're ghost town because they're so expensive as is, and I don't think they'd be able to bring to operate them. They're so expensive that you're not going to be able to say, okay, let's do half off on cut down prices here, there, and there to staff. It's going to still be expensive, and people just aren't going to be able to afford it if that's what we're looking at, a real 08, 09 type recession.
Okay, and just following through on some stocks from this morning, Meta. It never, it was the news, it was the market. You had the gap down there. We talked about it. Still's had a nice run coming off that low because people were looking stuffed on that rally that we had in November. What can I buy? What's cheap? What's been beat up? They rented the Meta. They couldn't fill the gap there. Maybe you get a 50% retracement here on this one of this move that you've had off the November low. I will just alert our traders that since you made that high, since you've traded over 120 a couple times, the lowest level you've been is 112.88. And I spot a couple other. Is there anything? There's a couple lows like 112.88. 114.59. Oh, there it is. 113.14. So that's only $1.59 away. That's only 2-star support for Meta. Coming down today, that's down over 4%, while the S&P is down less than 1%.
Yeah, I mean, Meta. Okay, so Joel, I made this prediction a while ago. I'm going to stick with the prediction. I'm going to try to decouple it from the stock, from the price action of the stock. So my prediction is that this year Meta will come out a winner of the holiday season, just in terms of their VR headset. I've been hearing a lot of people my age been getting them for Christmas. Last year, during right after Christmas on the App Store, the Oculus app was like the number one downloaded app on the App Store from how many people got those as Christmas gifts. And Meta put some more money this year in advertising that product. I think they're going to have another strong holiday year on that specific headset. I don't know if it's really going to matter for the stock because again, we're talking about the outlook for the whole economy right now, the potential of us heading toward a recession. They're not going to care. The market's not going to care if they sold a few more headsets than expected if they're worried about the stock getting cut in half from here.
Have you seen the commercial where the guy's a quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys?
Looks fun, doesn't it?
Yeah. It had the going through the play. So yeah, that was something that's funny that you mentioned that because I thought about that too. You're really not hearing much about holiday season. Now, I heard some people talking on CNBC for the brief few minutes that I had it on this morning, and they were saying they're waiting for those last minute deals, Aaron. They're waiting.
Oh,
They're
I
waiting
don't
for
know. I don't know if they're
they're waiting for
coming. I don't know if
everything to
they're
go on
coming.
sale.
But I'm saying when it's all said and done, when Christmas comes and passes, Hanukkah's over. If you see a headline saying that Meta or that the App Store for the second consecutive year that Oculus was the #1 app, I said it here. I said it here first.
I agree. I like it.
But like I said, I don't know if that necessarily means the stock's going to bounce off there. I honestly don't know from here. Usually you would expect good news like that, the stock to bounce. I'm not quite so sure anymore. So we shall see. Any other holiday trades people have in the chat? Throw them out there. Give us an idea.
All right. Is there anything that we want to? We did get a downgrade from T, and just not a widely followed stock, but had a nice rally. That's a substantial. Oh boy, a lot of air and T on the downside here. What a crazy rally! So that downgrade. I did see something on and I did discuss this with Bill Big D. Someone came out with like a 230 price target and talked about Nvidia, and I'm like, not today. I'm not, this is it's a highly charged stock. It's one of the top 10 components of the S&P. If you're stepping out here, if you're buying it here, I think you're leaning really 160 is a minor support point, and then it looks like your 2-week low is coming in at 156.67. So let's see if that 160 psychological support can hold. We're closed, Aaron. We talked two bears. The S&P's rallied back on us. We're going to settle in the 44 handle. It looks like, or the 40 handle looks around 38.44. Market has a memory. Last week's low, 55.25. Got to get back above that before I'm looking anything bullish. You have anything, any final comments for today?
No, Joel. I mean, I think it doesn't matter what you're looking at today. You could be looking at Tesla, Apple, Disney. It's kind of the same story out there. I've been kind of steadfastly, not bullish, but just, it's not as bad as people out there are saying. Even I'm starting to get worried a little bit here, but that probably means that, I should be doing the opposite and buying with everything I have. Who knows? Not investment advice. I don't know what's going on, Joel, but we're going to keep watching the market this week and see if we can find any hints, find any clues about what's going on.
All right. Good job. Stepping into the hot seat. Worked out well, and we'll get you back on again soon. Everyone, have a good night. We'll be back with our regularly scheduled programming at 8 a.m. tomorrow. Everyone, have a good night.
Beautiful. All right, guys. Smash the like if you have not already. We'll be back tomorrow.